What's up everyone, Boomslangg here with another video about Tom Clancy's The Division, and today we're going to be talking about the weapon balances that are going to be happening in update 1.3. They talked about it some today on the state of the game and then released an article with all the specific details, all the nitty-gritty goodness that we're going to see change when the update actually happens. I wanted to put this video out sooner, but I also wanted to get you guys exact detailed information on what was going to be happening, and I was wondering if specific weapons were going to be getting a change or a buff or a nerf, and it turns out that is true, so we are going to be getting some differences. So let's jump right into it. Basically, as we all know, SMGs and Marksman rifles are the top dogs in the Division right now. They're the ones that are the most viable, the ones that make the biggest difference when you're fighting PvE enemies or agents. But assault rifles were right there close with them, there was about 25% of people who use Marksman rifles, probably 23% use assault rifles, so there's a decent balance there, but SMGs were way up there, right above 30%. Now, as we all know, LMGs and shotguns were pretty much left in the dust. All of those are right around 10%. It's just kind of, I mean, they're not that good, so people don't use them. Now, within the meta of the SMGs, the AUG and the Vector were the most used ones in the game. They said this reason was because they were the ones that were most available, made possible by the blueprints in the Dark Zone and in the base of operations. Me personally, I have been using my 182 Vector since I crafted it back in 1.1, and I haven't found a gun better than that submachine gun anywhere with the particular weapon talents that have rolled on it and things like that. So they said that they took notice of this, and the way they're going to change this is they're actually going to implement a nerf, which we're going to talk more about the details here in a minute, but they're also going to do some other things. They're going to add a unique bonus to each weapon family. Now, we know that the Marksman rifles have bonus headshot damage, the submachine guns have bonus critical hit chance, and everything else didn't really have anything. So now they are going to change this where actually now SMGs are going to get critical hit damage rather than critical hit chance, so it's harder to reach the higher critical hit chance within the game. LMGs are going to receive a bonus that increases their damage to targets out of cover by roughly 25%. So this is really going to help LMGs become a much more viable gun all around, everywhere. They're going to be doing a lot more damage to PvEs. They're going to make agents within the Dark Zone think about whether they're in cover or not. And it's also going to increase their damage output overall, since you're going to be getting that 25% or right about 25% damage buff. Shotguns are also going to be getting a change. They are going to be getting a increased stagger bonus against NPCs, and you are also going to get a base damage increase on these. So all of these weapons are going to be a lot more powerful. And last but not least, assault rifles are also receiving a bonus to enemy armor damage. Now this only applies to PvE enemies and not agents in the Dark Zone. I know a lot of people were upset about that. I'm not sure how this would play out in the Dark Zone, if it would absolutely shred people and it would become one of the most OP guns in the game. They said that they're going to be playing around with it some more, so maybe we'll see that implemented in some form in the Dark Zone later on. But personally, it's going to make an assault rifle a lot better in the PvE area, and it's just going to make them a lot more viable overall. And before we move on, Marksman rifles are not going to be receiving any kind of change at all. They are staying the exactly same. Now, like I said earlier, the AUG and the Vector are the top dogs when it comes to the SMGs. Now, a lot of people have fallen in love with these guns. These are the best guns in the game, basically. So in order to kind of counter that and bring them more in line with the rest of the SMGs that are in the game, they're going to receive an overall damage nerf by about 10%. So all of the AUGs and Vectors are going to receive a 10% nerf, so that hopefully will bring them more in line with the rest of the submachine guns and make them a little bit more viable, and they're not the god roll, god gun of the Division, and that's what everybody is going to be using, and that's what everybody is searching after. Personally, I'm really excited about this because I want to be able to use an MP5 or a SMG9, or I want to be able to mix up my build and use different kinds of submachine guns. I want to use the new PP19 that's coming in update 1.3, but if the Vector and the AUG are the best ones in the game, I would have no reason to even think about picking that up. So hopefully this doesn't nerf them into oblivion, but it just kind of brings them into balance with the rest of the SMGs that are in the game. Now also up there at the top were the Marksman rifles being used with the SMGs, in particularly the M1A. Now everyone knows that this is pretty much the best Marksman rifle in the Division. None of the others really come close in terms of overall DPS and just being able to land targets quickly. So the way that they are countering this, it is not going to receive a damage nerf of any sort. It's going to receive an increase to accuracy cap. So basically when you shoot this gun consistently, the crosshair will grow to a much larger size than it did before. It's going to be a lot less accurate when you shoot this gun over and over and over. So it might make bolt actions or other semi-automatic marksman rifles a little bit more accurate. I'm not sure if this is really going to change it that much. I don't think this nerf is going to affect this gun that much overall, because I'm not shooting this gun extremely fast. I use this gun because it typically has a higher damage output than the rest of them. But I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see when it's actually implemented and see what happens with the game. Overall, I think this is going to be a pretty good weapon change. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to help level out the playing field with the different guns, especially in the PvE area. There's not really anything that's going to change a whole lot in the PvP, except maybe the LMGs being able to do more damage to enemies out of cover. But that'll just force agents to use cover a little bit more often, which has kind of been a problem in the DZ, that people just run around and it's not even a cover-based shooter in the dark zone. But I know a lot of people are upset about the SMGs. Personally, I'm excited about it because I want to use different submachine guns in my build. I don't want to have to use my Vector all the time, and I don't want to be just running around with a Vector and a Marksman rifle. I want to run around maybe with a shotgun and an assault rifle, or a shotgun and a large machine gun. So I think we'll actually be able to do that now. So let me know in the comments what you think about this weapon balance change. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? How do you think it's going to affect the dark zone and the PvE area? And if you think it's going to improve the overall quality of the Division. So that's all the weapon balance changes coming in 1.3. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more of the Division content. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.